What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Juice is Loose number 64. Now, I messed up the numbering system about 4 or 5 podcasts ago. I did 58 twice. So last week's was 62 and this week's 64 because once I figured that out, I needed to just bite the bullet. I changed the numbers, but I want to be on pace for our number 69 special, and I didn't want it to be. I want it to be the right one. So anyway, this is the Juices Loose podcast, which is first and foremost about games with a heavy emphasis on having fun, and we're gonna do that again for you tonight. Got just 2 guests with me this week, so should go ahead and introduce yourselves. We'll start with Robert.
What is up, guys? It is Weird 360 with me, Robert, and I'm not allowed on the 69th podcast.
Damn right you're not. And next up,
yo, what's up, guys? It's the Insane Game Freak here, and I am allowed on the 69 podcast. and for that podcast, my icon will change to my wife. We will have a good time.
Yep, that's gonna be the what's the word I want to use here?
X-rated.
No, it's not X-rated. It's just gonna
pornographic.
be. Nope.
It's gonna be. We're gonna call it the pet podcast, the cat.
No one's gonna be. Let's just say no one's got to worry about being their perverted selves. That podcast.
Oh, I don't. Well, we're like that all the time.
We're never worried.
It's gonna be extra special. We'll try to get Shelfie back on for that one. She's got a bit of a perverted side too, I've noticed on Twitter, so I think she'll fit in with that. So we'll try to make it like Red Knight's 50th podcast. We'll try to make a big deal out of it. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Meza T was a no-show. I don't know where he is. Didn't hear back from him today, so we're just gonna push forward without him. By the way, I'm your host, Terminator Juice, and let's get started with Triforce Heroes demo. I'm going to give my thoughts on my limited play time with the game, and then Robert, you can follow me, and then I don't think you got a chance to play it.
I got the code, and I literally had no interest in playing it.
Okay. So I didn't get an email for the code, which kind of pissed me off because, I mean, I buy just about every single Nintendo game, so...
You're not good enough.
3DSs... and multiple games, so I was a little bummed. But anyway, I got a code. Derek Steelfox hooked me up, and we set up a time to play together. I think Robert, you were going to join us.
Yeah.
And we get on the demo, and it's randoms only. You can't play with friends in the demo. So we got all Google Chat going and everything for nothing. So I jumped in a random lobby, and of course, everyone's dressing up Link in a dress. I didn't. That was not like that was like the perfect start for how the game went for me. 2 people dressing Link up in a dress, and then laggy as hell connection, and then trying to figure out what the hell to do, and the communication's very limited. I finally figured out to use a boomerang to throw it across a lava gap, and it pulls your teammates back across. Like, I just didn't expect the boomerang to be able to pick up a Link and drag him across a big gap, but figured that out, and then everyone was just kind of going on their own. They're falling into pits, and it was just chaotic. Like I said, it was laggy as hell. Then we get to the Triforce, and then one person didn't want to, like I was standing on the top one, and he pushed me off, like just he or she had to be on that one, so I had to move. And then Steel Fox was telling me that his group, the guy kept picking up the other person, and then once you're in the totem, unless they throw you, you can't do anything. You're just stuck. So this guy was just carrying this one person around the whole time, refusing to do the puzzles. And then, like, eventually, because Derek's very stubborn, he's like, "I'm not backing out. I'm gonna break down. They're gonna back out." They finally did the puzzle, and then you got to go stand on the 3 pieces of the Triforce, and the guy just refused to, so he had to back out. So, and he was talking to me while this was happening. So that was my very limited play experience. So it wasn't great. The game obviously is running off the Link Between Worlds game engine. Because I was talking, I didn't hear if there, I'm sure there's good music and stuff, but it brought to light a very serious problem with the game. Playing with randoms is going to be uh, tedious, frustrating, but not report, but you can blacklist people if you've had a bad experience with them, so you'll never get grouped with them again. I guess they kind of foresaw that happening. But here's the big problem. All right, even if you're playing with friends, once I did that dungeon and figured out the solution, which wasn't that difficult, obviously it was probably an early level, but therein lies the whole challenge of the room. So once you know, or if everybody in the room knows what to do, then there's absolutely no reason to play anymore if you've done certain dungeons already or certain levels. I don't know how many there are in the game. But when it's just figuring out what to do is the biggest challenge. And then if, like, let's say I was halfway through the game, and then I'm playing with somebody who's only played it for a little bit, and I got to go back and play levels I've already played. That doesn't sound appealing to me because, like I said, the puzzle is figuring out what to do, and once you know what to do, then it's just pretty much a cakewalk. So unless you just had two other friends and you made a pact to only play together and play the game from beginning to end together, I see a real issue with people getting further ahead, and then you're having to go back and play older levels, and I don't think the replay value's there. I don't think the fun factor's there at all once you've played through certain areas. So I'm very concerned about this game being basically an online-only experience. I've never been a fan of online-only type games, so unfortunately my first impressions were very bad, and I'm definitely not buying this game until I hear other people telling me how amazing the final product is. So, Robert, why don't you go ahead and give your impressions? Since you love everything, let's find out if it's true with Triforce Heroes.
Okay, so my experience was there was no friends, so I couldn't. I was like, all right, never mind. I'll get off. I won't play. So I go back in. I was like, all right, I'll play some randoms with people. So I go in, and I guess we're in the fire temple. I don't know which one it is. And there's this tiny spot. And literally for like 15, 20 minutes, we were there, and we did not move. The whole match was us not moving, all three of us, because I didn't know what to do. The other two didn't know what to do, so we just stood at the edge just looking at nothing and doing nothing. And so I picked up people. I threw them in the lava.
What?
Because I thought maybe that's what you had to do. and nothing happened. And so I'm like, I don't think that's what we had to do. So there's these commands on the bottom screen. And all three of us just kept pressing random buttons. So nothing was happening. And yeah, that was literally... And then after that, eventually someone left. Like I said, probably like 20 minutes in from us just standing there walking around doing nothing. When I mean it was a tiny square, it was like a tiny square. And
That's the one where you need to throw the boomerang across to get your other teammate across after he throws you across.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and we just stood there, all three of us, kind of looking like idiots, and we just did random stuff. We didn't even walk around. We just stood there, and we just kept pressing random buttons.
Man, it looks like I missed a hell of a time. Jesus.
So
now the thing is, how you were saying how it takes away the fun factor to do like stuff for the first time, basically. For me personally, that's just me though. I like everything like you say. I could do stuff repeating all the time. I mean, I repeat a lot of things every day, so that's just me personally. But I was still gonna get it. I think it'll be a fun single player experience. I'll like it. It won't be bad.
No words right
after
now.
all that, you just said you liked it.
Well, no, but you gotta remember, that's with randoms. If I play by myself.
You can't play by yourself.
Yes, you can. The game has a single player.
Yeah, the whole thing is a single player, so I'll play by myself.
You're playing with dummies.
Yeah, you're playing with dummies, which
What do you do?
I'm a
Switch
dummy.
back? Fourth
I'm a
between.
dummy, so it would.
Yeah, like you're pretty much your soul switches between the dummies at a press of a button.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Well, that's how Four Swords was, wasn't it?
That
Yeah,
sounds
four, which is weird because that's what I'm about to say. This game sounds pretty much like a Four Swords game, and I'm
It
like,
is. It's a Four Swords sequel,
but
basically.
I don't see, but I don't remember half of these issues in the Four Swords. But then again, Four
It wasn't
Swords
online.
wasn't online.
Yeah, it wasn't online, and I like
So
playing
you're gonna-
randoms.
You're gonna play
This would
that
be more of a local game.
that tedious, frustrating game instead of like the real Zelda game. That's
I think Zelda's gameplay style doesn't lend itself to being online. That's probably part of the main issue.
I actually do think it does, but did I even say that grammatically correct? I don't know. But I actually
Well, no, you mean grammatically? Yeah, no.
grammatically.
he's still in school, so
I can't even speak.
cutting us some slack.
I can't even see. I can't even
Okay.
speak.
But seriously though, I mean, I'm just gonna sum it up like this: A Link Between Worlds is the best game on the 3DS. Triforce Heroes is one of the worst games I've played on the 3DS. So just the demo. The demo was. I mean, the demo was right up there with Iron. whatever.
Ironfall Invasion.
I still haven't played that.
Yeah, it was terrible. And
I didn't
switching
think Ironfall was that bad.
Well, of course
Stop
you did, bro.
switching
no.
between like the just take one link and have really clever puzzles and dungeons and awesome music and a good story versus just random basically puzzle dungeons and with
Well,
no
isn't that-
I mean,
mean-
seriously. So anyway, let's move on. I'm done talking about Starfield.
Wow.
Supports a link.
Garbage. I recommend anyone that has a 3DS and hasn't bought A Link Between Worlds, get that, and then maybe someday get Triforce Heroes. If you have nothing else to play.
I'll do it the other way around.
So let's talk about a good game. Yoshi's Woolly World. So me and Robert both played it. Terrell hasn't gotten it. So again, didn't realize it was going to be just us three. Mezatiz played Yoshi and I think Triforce Heroes, so I thought we'd have a little more opinions on that. But so let's start with Yoshi. We'll start with you, Robert. Just
Okay,
a quick summary of how you feel about the game, and then we'll break it down into certain categories.
Okay, so I love it. I think it's an awesome game.
Are we really surprised, man?
No way.
It's it's very, very. First of all, in terms of the graphics, it looks beautiful. It looks it's so good. One of the best one of the best looking Wii U games, easily. In terms of controls, of course, it's super tight and nice. That doesn't sound right.
We're gonna go down those categories. I just wanted to get what you thought of the game.
Oh,
Just-
okay. So
you
it's
like
good.
it. Okay.
I like it.
I also really like this game, and it's just a very polished, good level design, just a fun game with charm, and it's just a great game. So let's start with the visuals. Robert, you said it's one of the best looking. I'd be hard pressed to think of a game that looks better than this game.
Super Smash Brothers.
Nope.
No.
Smash Brothers has
Mario Kart.
some of the Smash character models are straight out of Brawl. I mean,
Yeah, they're just uptouched.
and the stages are straight out of Brawl. Like the new stages look
No,
pretty
they're
decent.
actually they're also straight out of N64.
Yeah.
I would argue
The-
Smash
The
Brothers. Smash Brothers.
the unique stages to Smash 4 look amazing, but still Yoshi's looks cleaner. I would be shocked if this game wasn't 1080p, but it doesn't matter. The game looks amazing. Everything has texture. Everything has tiny little details. Like Yoshi's made out of yarn, but then there's these little like tiny fibers that stick out from the yarn, like in real life. Everything looks like real cloth. It's just amazing, smooth. 60 frames per second. There's foreground, there's background, there's depth to it. It'd be a perfect game for like 3D. It just looks amazing. There's not a single thing to complain about. The visuals are pretty much perfection, in my opinion. So, would you agree with that, Robert?
100%.
All right. And next, the controls. tight, like you said. I mean, it's Nintendo. It's they're perfect. Like that, just like with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, you can play with the analog stick just as good as with the D-pad. They're perfect. There's not a complaint there. Yoshi can do a little. If you keep tapping the jump button, he can kind of stay in the air. Eventually, he keeps losing altitude. You can and eventually you'll die, but it gives you a little more room to instead of just jumping and you get the flutter jump, but then you get a few, maybe about 5 or 6 times you can re-jump. Kind of, it's like a propeller that adds to it. So the controls, everything works great in that regard. So no complaints there. I like that little addition. Makes it feel a little bit different than the usual Yoshi game, but yeah, controls are great. Robert, agree, disagree?
I don't know why you're asking. No, you know
He already said. That's why I couldn't really go to him. You've already said the visuals and controls. So let's talk about the music, Robert.
Oh man, the music, the music, the music. Like it's so good, the music. I love the variety. First of all, you'll enter a level and it'll be like something like that. And then it'll be something like some kind of rock thing. Like literally the variety of music. You see this cuddly little whoa, and then all of a sudden you got rock music in the back. It's so good and I love it. And I think that the variety is just fantastic. Nintendo hit it again. They usually do amazing music, and it's just another example of amazing music from Nintendo.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the music till World 2. Like World 1,
Mm.
I played half of it off TV while I was watching something. And then when I really focused on it, the later part of World 1 and the beginning of World 2, I really noticed some really cool music in World 2, and I was really enjoying it. And then I kind of went back and realized World 1 had good music. It just nothing really stood out to me at the time. But overall, I can't wait to get to. I'm only up to World 2, so I can't wait to get further because I just have a feeling it's only going to get better and better. But yeah, Nintendo's track record is still untarnished when it comes to superb music in their first-party titles. So let's talk about something that a lot of people, even kind of Terrell, kind of said before off air. He's just assuming this was going to be a cakewalk type of game probably because of Kirby's Epic Yarn. Being basically you couldn't die. It was pretty easy. But it's definitely got some challenge. Even in World 1, there's some parts where it was a little tricky and you die. They don't really make a big deal out of it. There's no life counter and anything. It's unlimited. It doesn't even tell you that you've died. Like you fall. Yoshi, you get kind of a sound. His little heart breaks. Your health, and then you restart the level. So you don't have to worry about lives or anything. Which a lot of people will remember Rayman Legends did the same thing, and no one complained about that. So I don't think anybody will complain about it, but the game's definitely started off, just light and easy. But by the the last castle 1-7, it was a little bit of a challenge, and then the bonus level 1-8 was really tricky, especially getting all the items, the yarn. What do you call those things? Just like if you went and bought
The
some yarn.
spools?
Yeah, like a spool of it. You got to get 5 of those on each level, 5 daisies or flowers, whatever they are, some flowers, I'm not sure what they are. And then you have to find these 20 gems that got like a Miiverse stamp on them, and then you have to beat the level with full health to get all 4 requirements to get a star on that level. So there's definitely some challenge, and that bonus level is right up there with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. They're not everyone was as hard in Donkey Kong, but the first one here was a big jump in difficulty. So it's a nice blend already into a second or third level in World 2. I'm already noticing the difficulty ramp up, not to the point of frustration or you're going to die a lot, but just you definitely got to use your skills and It's not a cakewalk by any means. So, Robert, you're further, so you can kind of say a little more than me about the difficulty as you get further in the game.
Yeah, one thing is if you're trying to 100% the game, you're gonna have a challenge. Like it's gonna be hard for you. But for me, I'm personally just going level to level, playing the game, and so I haven't had as much difficulty. But there have been levels where it asks you, do you want to go to mellow mode? Because you suck. It's like, no, I don't want to. And you gotta restart the level. Then you die. Then restart the level. So it's definitely ramping up in difficulty. Obviously, if you want to take the challenge, you could try to 100% it, and you will get a difficult game, like for sure. That's
Yeah,
how
you
it is for me.
definitely you want to get what are those flowers? Are they daisies?
Dandelions.
They're not dandelions. But if you got to get all those in a world to unlock the bonus stage, so if you want to play the whole game, you got to at least do that. The rest of the stuff, I don't know, doesn't really do anything.
I don't
Uh,
think so. I think it's just for
I think
100%
from
purposes.
what I heard, it's like power badges and extra yarn,
Yeah,
Yoshi patterns.
the yarn. If you find all five, it unlocks a different costume or color Yoshi.
Yeah.
Like one in I think it was 2-1 was a Wii U Deluxe Yoshi where he's that teal color with black and it says has a U on his chest.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. And then you got the amiibo support, so the game's more challenging than I expected because I'm only on level 2-1 and I got about 5 hours in the game. So
Jesus.
yeah, but I get everything. I don't go through. To me, the platformer, you're only playing half the game if you're not finding everything in each level. So that's just how I approach them. And yeah, negatives. I do have one tiny gripe. In the hub world, it's like a 2/3 top-down view, and Yoshi controls like a frickin' blob of jelly. The controls are terrible, unresponsive, and it's hard to go in the right direction. I don't know what they did in the hub world because it's in a 3D environment and you're moving Yoshi around in a 3D environment and it's terrible. The analog stick, it just like I want to go to a spot and it's like literally tricky. I have to think about it. Okay, I want to go over here now. It's not very good, but it doesn't affect the overall game. But it's just a weird choice that they opted to do a 3D map like that for the game world, and then make the controls be really unresponsive and sluggish. I don't know if Robert, you probably didn't notice that, but
No, I didn't notice that. It
because I
felt
kept
fine to
going
me.
back and forth to the amiibo hut to change my
Oh,
costume,
okay.
and you got to go back to the main hub, and then from there you branch off into the different worlds. And I kept going back to change. I'm like, man, this is just a pain. Like you can't. It's just not up to Nintendo standards. It's like if you guys remember Skyward Sword, navigating the menu was like the hand cursor on the screen was like really slow, and you couldn't increase the sensitivity. That was something that always bugged me about Skyward Sword. It was just the menu, like when you're picking your save file. That's the only place it did it, and you would in the options before the game, you would like move the Wii remote fast, and the hand would just be moving like at a third that speed. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like that for me. So that's truly the only thing I could even think of that I could say as a negative.
Well, I just want to say, you could place your amiibo again, and you don't have to click the amiibo hut.
Well, I don't just sit there with amiibos on my lap. I'm not
Well, I
gonna
don't
get up.
either.
But you did put that Lucina one in. I'm already
Yeah.
sure.
But you probably saved some time.
Lucina's always in my lap. No,
Probably save time.
Man.
I'll save time by getting up and going to where my amiibos are and grabbing the one I want to play. Like I don't even like to get up to change the disc in
Oh,
the system.
then
Like,
I'm fine with that.
no, but either way, that's the only negative.
I was saying that's your only negative in the game.
That's
must
pretty
be
good,
awesome.
right? That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I would say if you like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, it's not that challenging, like so far, but it reminds me of it just a solid, really polished, excellent controlling, beautiful visuals with great music. If you like 2D platformers, you have to get this game. There's just no way around it. It's it's one of the better ones. It's right up there with Tropical Freeze for me so far. So other than apparently the bosses aren't there's like repeats and stuff, so maybe that could bring it down for me. But it's a great game. I'm really enjoying it. So 2D platformer fans out there, I know that some people are burnt out on them because that's all Nintendo does, but
Yeah, I'll be honest. That's one of the reasons why I didn't pick it up.
What? You guys are crazy.
I don't get burnt out on platformers, so that's just I get burnt out on first-person shooters. That's the one game that I got burnt out on. So yeah, that's my final thoughts on Yoshi. Robert, you want to say anything before we move on?
It's an awesome game, and I definitely think you should pick it up, especially if you like platformers. And if you don't like platformers, still buy it because it's an awesome game. And support all the games you can, because Yoshi's awesome. Who doesn't like Yoshi?
Yeah, and I mean it's structured. The levels are made by Nintendo. You know, this isn't user created levels, so you know there's definitely has that Nintendo charm and that magic of level design. And those, I mean, if you want to be a graphics horror, this is the game to be. It literally looks like they knitted things and did stop motion, like animation. The game looks like real life yarn, like a real set somebody made. So it's just impressive. So anyway, let's talk about the big news. Everybody's making videos on.
Yeah, of course, we got to jump on the bandwagon because we're not original.
But we're going to take a different approach. NX.
I love that name.
We got Wall Street Journal, of all places, not posting it as a rumor, but as a report from a undisclosed source. Wall Street Journal is not going to post some rumor from some YouTuber or some blogger. Like they're probably I can't say 100% legit, but because it's the Wall Street Journal and their source is going to be pretty reliable. This isn't Rich from Review Tech's reliable sources. This is the Wall Street Journal.
Shots fired, sir.
So I'm not taking it as rumor. Everything he said came from somebody with a dev kit. I believe that.
I believe it.
So the first news was that the dev kits have been distributed to certain third parties and publishers and stuff. I believe that to be 100% true. Either of you guys don't believe that?
I wouldn't say I don't believe it. I'm skeptical, but I maybe that's where I'm at. Maybe.
If this was a YouTuber, if this was Shokyo saying it, I would be like, yeah.
Well, Shokyo wouldn't say that anyway. But still, I'm not saying I don't believe as much as I'll put it this way. Most rumors in my mind always stay below like a 50% range, like in terms of believability.
But this wasn't listed as a rumor.
I know that. I would say, hey man, you can still get reports wrong. I would still, I'm close to believing it, but I always keep my level of skepticism in there just in case.
Well, I mean, it's pretty likely.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really like.
So I don't think that's even like really anything to discuss. And then of course you get the reports once they got the dev kits saying that it has what was it, the chipset? What they say?
Industry
leading. So that can
but
mean.
then they also said that only high power PCs, like really good PCs, could run an NX demo. That's
I did see that.
So that I don't know anything about. Like I heard that, but I can't put too much into that.
I can't really believe that because I mean, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One currently, PC-wise, are like what? Not even high-end PC.
No.
But that's why. That means it's even powerful.
I don't believe.
All I know is industry-leading specs. Our chipset could just mean like doesn't AMD? Somebody has like a new line of processors due out soon. Forget if it's AMD or
AMD.
So all it has to be is their new one, really. It doesn't have to be the most powerful, but it's probably going to be fairly powerful, fairly efficient. You know, the latest and greatest. But this is what I want to talk about. Everybody and their brother is
Their
just
brother.
all
What
hyped
about their
up.
sisters, man?
Everybody and their
That's
bro
not how it works.
are just they heard the specs were high and now all of a sudden everything's good. They're excited. Blah blah blah. Like why I don't understand why that matters so much to people. Specs could be amazing. Did they forget that features were their number one thing they wanted now? Like, what if it has all these specs but no voice chat? Then what?
Because
So
it's you gotta understand the concept is that if the console is more powerful, the console can do more. And
Yeah.
there are people now, there are very few, but there are people who still say bullshit like the Wii U can't run voice chat during games, which I know is bullshit. They just fucking. It's not that the console can't run it. It's just that they haven't. They either chose not to put it in the game or it wasn't implemented well. But there's that idea that the more powerful your console is, the more stuff it can do. And so, of course, they're like, oh, well, we can get all these features now because the console's so much more powerful. And I'm like, that's not how this works. And then on top of that, graphics are everything,
Uh-huh.
even though they're not. So
yes, it's
go
just
ahead.
funny to me that all that feature talk we've been getting for the last 6 months just went out the window when, like, I mean, you make a good point. They're just assuming because it's powerful, it's going to have features that don't mean anything.
Right.
Like, the GameCube was powerful, but it was years behind the Xbox when it came to online features and stuff. So that doesn't mean anything, but the fact that they're back on Nintendo's side because they heard high specs, like to me, that's you're a fraud. You're like,
Well, that just
that's,
makes me sad as a gamer.
yeah, it does, and it's like you're a Nintendo fan. They always make their games look great, no matter what system it was on, and they still look. Some of them look great today, like GameCube games. Metroid Prime still looks good today. So it's about the art style and their attention to detail. It does the specs aren't you know the specs are nice, like they help, like the Wii U obviously the specs it does have led to Yoshi's Woolly World looking amazing. I think it looks way better than that stupid game on the PS4, the Little Big Planet. Like
Wow.
Well, granted, I mean, there's a lot of games a little better than Little Big Planet. Let's be
but I'm just saying
Wow.
it's a similar style. But anyway, so I just wanted to say I just think it's pathetic all the people just getting back on the Nintendo bandwagon because the NX is going to be a powerful system. You know, if these reports are right, you know, they said the words, but the interpretation could mean many different things on that industry-leading chipset. But so I just want to point that out because I want to know about what innovative ideas Nintendo's bringing to the table, like they did last gen, or you know, with the Wii U, with the Miiverse. Like to me, that was the best innovation we've gotten this generation. I mean, I love the Miiverse, and I want to know, is there something like that, an evolution of the Miiverse, or some new feature, new innovative thing that we couldn't even imagine that they've come up with? Like that's the kind of stuff that gets me excited personally for a new system.
it kind of just depends how much of those patents that we were talking about a while ago are actually like true and legit. Because
Yep.
if we start seeing images of dead kits and I see like a gamepad screen, bruh, I'm gonna be so happy. Cause that's I'm serious. I want that to stay. I want that. I want it to be refined, but I want the gamepad to stay.
Mhm.
That's kind of my no give situation.
Especially
And
with the games this year, almost all of them utilize it well,
Yep.
yeah,
It's true.
except for Yoshi, but that's the one
Oh yeah,
game.
that doesn't actually do anything.
So, um, like, yeah, the specs could lead to more abilities, like the gamepad. You could actually have something running separately on your gamepad from your TV. Like, um, I was thinking, what if I want to use the big screen and somebody watching Netflix wants to use the gamepad instead of vice versa. Instead of having to give up the big screen to play games, wouldn't it be nice if they could run Netflix on the you know, the gamepad style screen or something, you know, or
Uh-huh.
uh, have a game, play a game, and be able to hit the home button no matter what you're playing, and just quickly jump to something, because the gamepad or the Wii U, it works. Certain games you can pause, you can't do it with online games and stuff. So just the ease of use, I guess, would be the only real thing about the specs that would get me that much more excited than just raw visual. So Robert, what did you wanna? Did the specs get you excited, or is there something else you want to see before you're gonna get on the hype train?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, listen. I don't care what anyone says. Better specs is always good for a new console because Yoshi's Woolly World, guess what? That'll look even better on the next console. It's just how it's gonna be. But in terms of what they were talking about, I think you guys are forgetting the most important part: the console handheld hybrid.
We're not to that yet.
Damn it!
No,
That's what I want. That's the only thing.
That was the first time he was just like, "Oh, it's like, damn it, God."
We're not to that part yet.
That's the only thing I came out with it because.
Okay, so if that's what I was gonna. I should have started with what part of the news of the report got you the most excited, because that's the part that had me the most intrigued.
Oh
So
man, I can't wait.
So take it away with that. What does that mean to you if let's say it's like a gamepad but more ergonomically friendly and streamlined? What if that is your handheld, completely separate?
Well, I heard it was like multiple devices. I thought that was in the report that it was multiple devices. It wasn't just.
Yep.
So what would that mean for you, Robert? I mean, what?
This is the freaking thing that Nintendo should have done 20,000 years ago. Oh my God. Oh, let's see. The Game Boy has like 100 million people on it, while the GameCube has 20 million. What if you combine that? That's 120 million. Like.
Well, the 20 million that have the GameCube, almost every one of them.
Hey man, he's hype. Don't take that away from him.
Regardless, you gotta understand.
That's a point that we're actually going to discuss. But yeah, go ahead.
Regardless, that means you combine everybody. Oh my God! Literally, they won the next generation. Like there's no one that could stop Nintendo's handheld. Literally, no one can. It's just not possible unless they do terrible for some reason next time.
I know, man. I mean, we don't want another Wii U 2 situation, do we?
But you gotta understand that. Like that means literally, I guarantee you, we're gonna get like a Nintendo game, like 2 Nintendo games a month. Like, literally, you're going to be able to take your controller and go outside and keep playing Animal Crossing and this thing and that thing. And, oh, my God. Like, literally, it's never-ending Nintendo games for the whole generation. Literally, never-ending. And never-ending supply. And I guess what?
Jesus.
You release a Pokemon.
Literally or figuratively?
I think just let him be wrong. It's fine.
Because you release a Pokemon, already there's 16 million people on that hype train for that. Like it's.
So let's.
Oh my God.
Because when I read that was the thing that jumped out the most. Like there's a portable device and in the consoles, those the dev kits. If they have both, tells me that they're moving forward with that ecosystem of one. A game's gonna work. They just have to develop the game once, and it's going to work on the handheld and the home system. That's kind of what it's telling me, and that's exciting, and it's also scary. And I'll ask you this, Terrell. So, what is there? 55 million 3DSs sold, and 10 million Wii U's. So that's 65 million total. But like I said, how many people do you know that have a Wii U and a 3DS?
Well, there can, at the very most, there can only be like 10 million at best.
That's what I'm saying. How many Wii U owners do you know, I'm asking you, that have a 3DS?
I don't know any Wii U owners. I mean, outside of... Well,
I'm talking about in this community.
Oh, in this community, well, a decent chunk, right?
Everyone I know. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a 3DS.
I know someone that has a Wii U but not a 3DS.
Okay, so that's one out of like, I know at least 50 people that have a Wii U and a 3DS.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone who really doesn't.
Red Knights is kind of broken, but he still bought one. So, Robert said that in his mind, it's you combine the two sales, but you really don't.
Really, if
regardless,
anything,
you're still gonna get a ton.
Well, actually, it depends.
So
I was gonna go. It depends because there's a lot of people are thinking there are gonna be multiple SKUs, and some of the SKU and like it's not going to be like the console SKU won't be for like there'll be like a console version and a handheld version. And my thing is that there's no guarantee that people are going to buy both versions. I'm thinking they'll pick the one they're probably more likely going to be using, and I bet you the handheld one will sell better than the damn console one.
But
And
it's going to run the same games. If this is true, why else would the dev kits have both?
No.
it will, but my point is, why would you buy two devices that play the same games?
No. My point is, there's not going to be two different SKUs. There will never be. It's the controller is the handheld. That's what it's going to be.
That's
That's
what
it.
I'm
It's
thinking.
period, done, period. You buy the handheld, you already have the console. You buy the console, you already have the handheld because the controller is the console.
That's what I was thinking, but now that Terrell's said that they possibly could sell them separate, it doesn't matter. They're still getting a hardware sale. They're still increasing the NX sales because it's going to be the
Nope.
same. But will that hurt them?
I don't know, honestly. I can't tell if that would hurt them because even let's say it's just one thing and it's the console and the handheld. First off, I can't imagine that being cheap. That's
why I don't think they can.
That's the reason why I thought there'd be multiple SKUs because that sounds expensive as hell. That's like bundling a PlayStation 4 and a Vita together, and it costs you like
They did.
yeah. But that was after I think the Vita was out for a while, and the Vita didn't cost as much.
Yeah.
I think they have to have a handheld, whether it acts as a controller. That has to be sold separately. It has to be under $200, otherwise their handheld market's gonna be done.
Yeah, but I
Just
say
be dead.
the appeal of the handheld market is the fact that it's the cheaper and it has, and especially if it's running the same games, you kind of kill the console. It's weird because to me it's like that's why I said I thought it had multiple SKUs, and if it has multiple SKUs, I mean, yeah, they're still making the money, but you're gonna have way more people playing the handheld version than
But it's
the
the
console
same.
version.
But it's the same game. Like I think.
I guess it doesn't.
See, we're in this box. We have this mindset of a handheld. Nintendo makes money on the 3DS. They're breaking even on the Wii U. But if both devices are the same operating system, one is a portable, one is a console, but they're the same, plays the same games. Anytime they sell either one, they're probably going to be happy because they're going to make probably the same amount of profit off of each device. So it's not like you're not killing the console sales because people are buying the NX, whether it's a mobile device or a console. They're buying it, and Nintendo's making money on it, and their games are going to sell on it. So,
well, I'm saying, okay, well, but here's the thing, though. If we have a handheld version, the handheld version is not going to be as strong as the console version.
That's not technically true. Look at the NVIDIA Shield. Handhelds are getting so much more powerful than today's consoles.
But I'm saying there will be a difference. It may not be like a huge difference, but there will be a difference.
But it's just gonna be graphics. So
it'll just be resolution, really. That's it.
If resolution means that much to people, they'll buy the console version. But
no, there won't be a version, people. Come on.
No.
Yeah,
they'll buy the hardware, the console hardware, not the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll buy the console. They'll buy the NX SKU, like the console SKU, and not the handheld SKU.
I still don't think that. I'm telling you, I guarantee you, you're gonna open up your package and there's gonna be.
Listen, Robert. Listen. How long have you been alive?
16 years.
Okay. The Game Boy has been out probably 10 years longer than you've been alive. The reason they sell is because you can play games for sub $200. You can play Nintendo first-party titles on a device under $200. If they take that option away, there goes your handheld market. It's dead. It's gone. It's just dead forever.
Which is why
I don't think so.
The only people buying this package deal that you're talking about are the console gamers anyway. So.
And then you're also, I'm betting there'll be a cell phone SKU too, or something similar to it.
They could make a deal with somebody and have a laptop or a tablet that has the NX operating system on it. But
so to me, at the very least, it's got to have multiple SKUs.
But yeah, you can't bundle it together, charge $400. Yeah, the PlayStation 4 is selling, but
the Vita's not.
Yeah, the Vita's already up to almost 13 million now. It's continued to sell. But my point is, handhelds sell 60, 70, 80, 100 million units because of their price. It's not, you bundle that $400, you lose your handheld. All those people that buy those handhelds, you lose them. So
I
Yeah,
really
they
don't think
have
so.
to.
They have to, in my opinion, they gotta attempt it. They really do. And maybe a year or two down the line, they'll separate them. I really do think they gotta attempt it, bundle it together, be like, this is your controller, and you're able to take this out. You're able to do whatever you want with it. You can sit on it. I don't care. I'm telling you, it's gonna be one console. That they've been trying it with the
Well, I
Wii
mean, they
U,
I
make
the
the
agree it's going to
3DS.
work like that. The handheld's going to work
yeah,
as the
the
controller.
ecosystem will be all connected.
And
I
I
believe.
even think like you'll be able to plug the game into the handheld even when you're at home. I think the cartridge slot's going to be in the handheld,
Yeah,
and you can just play it straight from that. But there's not a doubt in my mind that there's going to be a separate one just for the mobile version.
well, we'll see.
Yeah,
So
I can't. Yeah, I can't think of it not having
and,
multiple
yeah,
versions.
it's
Oh,
going to be probably
I hope there's
150,
no.
$200, probably 200, and then
They
and
might
then
have a bundle
the
version.
bundle will probably be 400 or something, or 500. It'll probably be 250 for the
Because I
250,
mean,
300 for the
what we're
console.
talking about here is something technically the PlayStation brand does with it with the V and the 4, but it'll just be way more connected than the V and the 4
Yeah, it's
are.
gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like the
It's gonna be
gamepad.
literally one system.
When the gamepad, just like when the handheld or mobile's there, it's gonna act just like the gamepad. It's gonna be that seamless. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, let's talk about the effect this will have on their games. Now, if this is successful, and you get the mobile handheld market buying the NX, and the console people have an NX, and the same game cart will play on both. One will have a lower resolution, probably, maybe some other features that can't be done on the handheld. But Nintendo's taking a risk here because if you look at the most popular games on the 3DS, it's Mario Kart 7, Mario 3D Land, and Smash Brothers, and then Pokemon. And then
And
you
Animal
got
Crossing.
you got Animal Crossing. So Mario Kart 7 is the I think the highest selling on the 3DS. Mario Kart 8 is the highest selling game on the Wii U. So that's like 17 million combined. But
Yep.
just like I said with the Wii U and 3DS owners, if you put those together and have Mario Kart 9 on the NX, you're losing out on. You don't have to develop two games, I guess, but you're not getting basically 1.5 times the sales. The most you're gonna sell is whatever the handheld version probably sells on 3DS right now. So you're gonna kind of lose out there. But like I said, you're not gonna have to develop two separate games. So maybe in the long run, that's just gonna be just as profitable. What do you?
Actually, yeah, because you just brought up a good point. There's a lot of like repeat games, especially when it came to like the DS and 3DS, where it's like, oh, we're gonna make a Mario Kart game for the handheld and one for the console. Well, like
Mhm.
now you can't really do that. And my question becomes, does that mean does that because technically, I mean, they were making money off of two versions of Mario Kart for the DS and the Wii, but you can't really do that for the NX. It's just gonna be like Mario Kart 9, and that's all it's gonna be. And you can't do like two versions of Mario Golf or Mario like those games that's in the like even 3D Land. Like there won't be like a handheld Mario and a main console
Mhm.
Mario. So it's like, does that mean? To me, it kind of forces them into a position in which they have to make more games, I guess.
So it might
Well, of
have
course.
to.
More different games.
Yeah.
They
It could
can't.
be. That
They
could be
won't.
a positive. They might.
Which would help. It would make them. It would make it less jarring to have like two versions of Mario Golf or two versions of Mario Kart.
Two
So
versions of Smash. All that stuff would just
yeah,
be one.
they can't really hang on to the same franchises as long as they have been. They have to do like different games, and that might mean we get to see more new IPs technically.
Yeah.
Or
And,
there's also. Let me throw this to you, Robert, before you
wow.
go. What if that makes them release two Mario Karts in a generation on the same system for the first time? Like that could be a downside to this.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. And I really, again, I believe that would be less money for them to spend developing two versions. And in all honesty, they might. Maybe I'm probably wrong about that, but since it is combined, like how it's one platform, more people would most likely buy that one game, and you might get more money off of it. In the outcome technically. And like I said, that's less development cost for them, and they could go straight on to the next game. And they like Terrell, they would have to develop new games. So the Mario Kart team,
Or
maybe
they could
start
abuse
working
it.
on a different thing.
Or they could do what a lot of these other companies have been doing, which is rehash games more often.
No,
I
no.
don't think they will, but I
The
still
possibility's there. That's the-
yeah, because they're gonna be like, all right, usually we make our mobile Mario Kart, and then we start work on our console Mario Kart, and that's like every 3 years, and then they're gonna be like, but now we don't have two to
DLC.
make, so what are they gonna do in the meantime? So these teams that are used to going from handheld to console are just gonna have,
They could
you
just sit
know,
there.
they're gonna have one, so either give them a new project or, like I said, potentially gonna see two per generation. That
With that, or we see more extended DLC for like.
That's what I was saying. Is that maybe more
yeah,
DLC?
that's
They could
true.
do tons a year, and they'd make even more money off of that, and that's less development cost for them. So I honestly, I
Yeah, and
think
we
it
don't
could
know
be
what
one.
we don't know what the development cost is of a Mario Kart 7,
Yeah, we don't know, but
so we don't know in the long run. But it tells me that if the NX doesn't sell and it's combined, even the mobile version doesn't get up where 3DS numbers are, then they're really going to be in a sticky situation because the game sales are going to be joined, and that could be it's going to be a high risk, high reward situation.
There are also certain franchises that work better on handheld than they do on consoles. Like,
Yeah,
think about it. Like, there are certain franchises that may not want to make like these huge adventures and
oh, that's opinionated though.
well, I'm just saying,
but
for example, was it the main Pokemon franchise has never really been on the console.
And that's why it would be massive for
Well,
it to be the first
that's
time.
look, that's just one example. Fire Emblem was another example.
I think Fire Emblem would be great on a console.
Yeah, they haven't
Have
tried
you,
it. They haven't tried it since
But it will be.
they
It'll
tried
be
it
on.
since the Wii.
See, that's the benefit. We talked about the possible negatives, but the benefit is, all right, now the NX is both. Now the Fire Emblem team makes a game for the NX, and I can play it at home.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to be sitting there on the couch with my portable device. I can play it on my TV, and so you're going to get console games that are going to be mobile, and you're going to get games that are normally on mobile, handheld. You're going to be able to play them in the comfort of your living room. So I think that's
Well,
a perk.
Well, here's my question though: are they going to design them as console games or mobile games? Because I mean, one of the problems I thought the Vita had is that for some stupid reason the Vita had a problem of designing console games for the Vita, and the Vita no one wants to play a mobile Uncharted. You want to play a console Uncharted.
Yeah, but they don't have. All they have to do is make a
yeah,
Fire Emblem game. They don't have to worry about making it
because
a
Fire Emblem
console.
is a massive
Just
game, regardless.
make it Fire Emblem, and
I guess
and it,
I guess
you
a good
know,
example I have would be like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. That game, the 3DS sequel, is obviously set up in a more arcade style, like a mission-based style, versus the main game, versus the original game that was more of like an open world situation. I mean, design like that. Like, how
But
do
you can
you?
still play that on a console.
I'm not saying you can't play it on a console, but there are certain design elements that work better for handhelds than they do for consoles. Like certain games are made to be played in like bite-sized chunks versus like other games that you can play for long stretches of hours. And granted, this might be a minor thing. It's just something that's just kind of floating in my head. But
Well,
that's
let it float.
like I said, I would rather play Fire Emblem right now, on a TV. Like I probably not going to get the new Fire Emblem for the
how dare
3DS,
you? How dare you?
just because, like, I just don't like using my 3DS that much.
No, you're afraid of losing that you'll find a better waifu than Lucia, and you don't want to risk it. That's what it is.
But I don't think we're gonna have to worry about they're kind of put a console version of Metroid on a handheld because the NX is gonna be both. We gotta quit. We're gonna have Nintendo's doing what's called a paradigm shift. People are gonna have to stop calling them like they're two different things. Teams are just gonna develop a game, and I know what you're saying is that you're developing for the 3DS, then they have to put in certain things, like you said, that make it apt to be able to play it in shorter time spans. But they're also people play their 3DSs for 4 hours on 5 hours at a
Yeah.
time. So you just I see what you're saying, but I don't think they'll have a problem because they're gonna go in with that knowing that, and they're gonna probably find a solution. A lot of I'm not saying every game, but I think they'll find a way to make it work on both. And I think they got to be pretty confident into what the NX is to potentially lose out on double the game sales of certain series, So I think they must be pretty confident in what they have going if they're going to risk doing that. But I don't know. It was a good talk. So there's a few more points I want to talk about. That is the dev kits getting there. It's October. They probably had them in September. I'm thinking the report just came out. But a lot of people are like, oh, a publisher can't develop a game in under a year. Like, there's not going to be any exclusive third-party games on the NX. So
Yeah, it's not.
especially at launch, I don't think. But so here's the question: a lot of people hearing these reports saying, "Oh, it's 2016 is pretty much confirmed now," but then you hear people say, "Well, 1 year is not enough for a third party to get a game on the system." Now, I'm not a programmer.
Not a new game anyway.
Yeah, but you're telling me that Advanced Warfare 2, Call of Duty, they can't in a year they can't get a port going right now and have the game that they're developing anyway to run and be available? Like, that seems like plenty of time to
Especially
me.
if this is easier to develop for.
Yeah, depending on the architecture, but either way, they got a full year. And Assassin's Creed, all these games that I don't really care about those games, but there's no reason that they can't be ready now that they have a dev kit. They can't get a port and have it ready for the NX launch. Yeah, so like I said, we're not programmers, so we probably really can't answer this question. What's your gut telling you on that?
I think it's possible. Because most likely the NX and the PS4 and Xbox One have similar architecture, so they could probably easier than if they were to port it to Wii U. It would be easier to just port it to NX, and yeah, I think Nintendo should get on to Square Enix. I don't think they really will, but they should be like, hey, that Rise of the Tomb Raider, let's bring it to NX also. Let's
Here's
that in 2016 when the PS4 version hits.
Exactly, it would be the exact date. So launch day, you have a Rise of the Tomb Raider there also on NX.
Here's my thing, and it kind of, I'm going off a little bit off of it, but I think it's possible. I'm not really doubting that it's not possible to have games come out the same time. I mean, even the Wii U had games that maybe like a few months late, but they were still within the same general area. It's like general time frame. My whole issue isn't whether they can do it or not. My issue is that I hope Nintendo doesn't make the same mistake they made with the Wii U and rely on them being there. That was the biggest, to me, that was one of the Wii U's biggest mistakes in the beginning. They were banking on that. They were banking on third party to carry them through pretty much like they've been doing for Sony and Microsoft. And that, as long as the NX has its own games and its own first-party games, there won't be an issue. I think they can do it. I just don't think Nintendo should rely on it like they did with the Wii U. Because to me, that was one of the first blows to it, is that they relied on something that wasn't definite, and then it didn't work out, and they ended up paying for it with sales.
That's a good segue to my final question for you guys. So we don't want that to happen. But if 2016 is what people are thinking this is going to launch in, is Nintendo going to be ready with games? Let's see, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze came. Retro was done with that in like October 2013. They immediately started on the next project. 3D World was done about October 2013. They've been working on the next 3D Mario game. Miyamoto said like last year that they were thinking about, wouldn't that be a great launch title for the next system? So we know that by the time 2016 hits, that'll be 3 years of development. We have no idea what Retro would be working on. We don't know really anything else. Pikmin 4, possibly, but do you think Nintendo would be ready? With the Wii U, they weren't. They had a good Mario 2D platformer, but it wasn't. They used a lot of resources from Wii to make that game. Do you think Nintendo will be ready for 2016?
It seems like they're more equipped to be ready this time. Like, I put it this way: when the Wii U was coming, the first of the Wii U was shown like 2 times, 2 years before we'd even got the console in our hands, and there was no. And if you notice, during those 2 years, the two E3s we saw it, how many games did we even know about that were coming to the console at launch that were like Nintendo made? I think at that point it was just Pikmin 3 and I guess no, Wonderful 101 wasn't developed by Nintendo. So Pikmin 3 and New Super Mario Brothers, everything else was like a third party, either.
Yeah, that's all we pretty much knew before launch. Nintendo Land, New Super Mario Brothers, and Pikmin 3 were the only Nintendo developed.
Now this time seems kind of similar in a way because it's ironically because of Pikmin 4, a unannounced retro game, but I think it worked. I mean, technically, you could have made the same argument for the Wii. It was like, well, Super Mario Galaxy 2 came out, in 2008, right?
Super Mario Galaxy 1?
No, 2.
That came out in 2010.
That came out May 23rd, 2010.
Okay, my bad. So 2010, they would have had, about, when the Wii U came out in November of 2012, that was about 2 years, and the next game didn't even come out until, near the end of 2013. So,
yeah.
It feels like to me it can go either way. I feel like but you gotta think about it this way: they're kind of rushing the Wii U out the door because they see that it's not gonna pick up the way they want it to. So I think they're more prepared now, especially because half the problems they had then they don't have now. Like, what was it? They weren't good. They didn't know how much HD development was gonna take up their time.
Yeah.
They're more well adapted to HD, so half of the problems they had then they don't have now. So I'm more inclined to think that they're probably ready, but it all really just depends on what gets shown for the Wii U for the rest of next year, and then the rest of next year and when they actually do reveal the console. But I think they're more prepared for it now. I'm leaning towards that they're probably ready for it.
What do you think, Robert? You think Nintendo could have some good games out in 2016 for a launch of NX? I mean, assuming Zelda's still hitting Wii U. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
So it's hard to answer, but what's your gut telling you on the NX in 2016?
I think they're a lot more prepared. They totally learned a lot of lessons from Wii U. And especially, I really do think Retro's new game will be on NX. I think Pikmin 4 is on NX. I think the new 3D Mario game is totally on NX.
Definitely.
I think Zelda Wii U probably is going to be either cross-platform with Wii U and NX, but it's definitely going to most likely be on that NX. And there's going to be a lot of bigger name titles, not just Nintendo Land. It's going to be a lot of bigger name titles on the NX. And I do think there will be a good amount of third party this time. And when I mean good amount, I mean they've also learned the lessons with that, and they may start to be like, hey, please.
Please understand. Is that what you were going for?
What they need to do is Assassin's Creed 3. There's still copies on the shelves right now. They must have manufactured 5 million copies of that game. I guarantee you they've learned that lesson, but they also can't. Might as well not make the game if they're not going to have some in stores for people to get. But anyway, I think we hit on some good points that not a lot of people are really talking about. And like I said, the specs part of it to me is not even the interesting part. So let's get on to some questions and then wrap this up. And we got some people commented earlier, and I'm not sure what they're referring to. So I'm going to have to assume on a couple of them. But Retro Death says that he picks Yoshi's Woolly World over Mario Maker any day. They're so completely different. Mario Maker's, for me, is going to have way more replay value because I've been playing new levels all the time. Whereas once I'm done with Yoshi and 100% it, just like Kirby, it'll be on the shelf for at least 2-3 years before I ever think about playing it again. So, Flapjack, how important is backwards compatibility to you for Nintendo's future console, and especially in light of the skittish major third-party support? Now, this question is interesting because if this is a hybrid fusion system, then it's going to have to also be backwards compatibility or compatible with 3DS games potentially, not just Wii U. So, how important is to you, Robert? Just short answer on backwards compatibility.
A lot. Usually it's a lot.
All right. It's nice, but I hardly ever use it on the Wii U. The few times I did, it was nice to have that option, but to me, I'll still have my Wii U if they didn't. The Xbox guys are hyping up backwards compatibility with the announcement of the Xbox One, and I'm like, yeah, it's nice that it's there, but to me, it's not a major selling point. But I guess I'd rather have it than not have it. But it depends on the cost. What's it gonna cost Nintendo to add it? What's it gonna cost me to have the system have it? So I'm kind of 50-50 on it. What about you, Terrell?
I'm actually probably 50-50 too, because I'm like, it's hard because ever since pretty much the Wii, we've had backwards compatibility, which ironically is only in 2 consoles in retrospect.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, technically the Game Boy Advance had backwards compatibility, so did the DS.
All the handhelds pretty much have.
Yeah, all the handhelds have had backwards compatibility. So it's like I'm used to it, but I'll be honest, I don't use it on my Wii U. So console-wise, it probably wouldn't bug me as much as it would for like maybe for the handheld version is going to bug me more. And it also just depends if they're going to actually make sure the eShop thing is like compatible. Well, I know it's going to be, but like if I can download all my downloadable games directly from the eShop and just get them on my NX handheld or console version, that'll fix some of the issues.
And if it doesn't have dual screens, it would be a little tricky to do backwards compatibility.
That really gets into another. Well, I mean, it could be like the Wii U Gamepad. It has DS Virtual Console games, and all they did was they throw it on the same screen, and you can turn it sideways and shit. So I don't think that'll be an issue. If it's still, from what I've seen, I think it's still rocking the Gamepad stuff. If it's still rocking the Gamepad stuff, the dual screen thing isn't really an issue.
All right.
It's just more so. Actually, and if it's cartridge based, then the 3DS won't have any problems because the 3DS is cartridges. The only problem you'll have is the Wii U games.
Well, that patent could be just for the handheld version without a disc. It could be that's technically a game device without a disc drive.
So technically,
the console hardware could actually have a disc drive for backwards compatibility purposes, and then use just cartridges to play the new games. So, like I said, there's a lot of unanswered questions.
That also means that it would have a lot of SKUs.
Nah, I think if it was gonna have backwards compatibility, you buy the hardware for the home console version, you're gonna get a disc drive, and the NX games are gonna run off cartridges or something like that because I don't see them having the portable.
But that seems like a lot of money just to support Wii U games.
I know. To me, if I was Nintendo, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I would walk away from the Wii U one since the cartridges are there. The 3DS compatibility would be fine, and technically, I think you could probably still technically do DS in that way because DS are also cartridges. But to me, it would be smarter just to walk away from that because there's no reason to add a disc drive for backwards compatibility. If your console was using discs, maybe, but if it's not, there's no reason to have it in there.
Yeah, it's just a real interesting thought. And Nintendo has a lot of decisions. If they probably already made them, possibly, but
I feel like because all this stuff is coming out so early and Nintendo isn't actually planning to say anything until next year, I feel like a lot of people are going to be disappointed whatever they come out with. Because I feel like we are setting ourselves up for failure, and I'm prepared for when they actually do announce it, whether it's at E3 or before. You're going to get some negative videos regardless. I already know it's coming.
Well, wait. Let me just say though that you got to remember that I'm 16. I didn't play a lot of the Wii games. That's why I like the Wii backwards
Hmm.
capabilities, and that's why for me personally,
But you have
it
Wii
was it was
downloads, man.
it was important. What happened?
You have Wii downloads now.
Just a
Remember?
few titles, but
Yeah, but I like to get my physical copies,
and I
and
do want to say, um, people keep calling those ports. They're not ports. It's just the digital version of the Wii game. Like
yeah, they're
uh,
virtual consoles.
Francis from Player Essence calls them ports. Somebody else was calling them ports.
I don't understand how it's the
It's
port.
it's just
No, it's
the
not
digital
port.
version
It's an
of the
emulator.
disc,
Do
and
we
it's
do we
not an
call?
emulator. It plays in Wii mode.
Yeah, it's
The
playing
Wii
off.
U has a
It's
Wii.
playing. Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna
like
say it's playing off the Wii mode. Like
well,
Yeah.
it's like a virtual console.
No,
it,
it's a digital version of the Wii disc. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
basically a virtual console. Like it's a digital NES title. You know what I
it's
mean?
an
Like,
actually,
eShop virtual console, I guess. But it's like I
well, that's
bought.
what it will be if they go in the future.
It's just like having either you bought Mario Kart 8
yeah,
on the disc or you bought Mario Kart 8 digitally.
yeah,
The eShop Wii games are just the digital version. They're not a port. They play in the Wii mode. It's so anyway. I keep
Well,
hearing that, and it just bugs me that people call it a port.
Well,
It's
actually,
not a port.
that brings up a question. If they do the backwards compatibility, that also means that the NX would have to be compatible with all Wii gear, like
Mhm.
that's
the
true.
Wii
Also.
motes and the nunchucks, and I don't even
Oh
know.
well, no, I don't know.
And
That's
see,
weird.
if the NX is trying to get away from that, I don't think that they'll do that. I think they'll completely.
Yeah,
They might. To me, I think they learned that the Wii brand is dead. And
yeah,
so, to me, it's like I don't think that they're gonna keep supporting the Wii brand after Wii U. I think that that's it. If the NX is something, I think the NX's goal is to be completely different and to be like a revolution, not an evolution.
yeah. I think that they need to. In all honesty, yeah, don't do
So,
backwards capability. Just
well, at
ignore
least
the
not for the
Wii.
console games, yeah. Because actually, well, I mean, because they can still do it, but they would just have to make the games digital. And technically, all Wii U games are digital anyway. So, I mean, you just you just wouldn't have physical, pretty
Yeah, but
much.
then you'd have to How would you prove you had the game? So let's
Yeah,
Well,
get on to.
no, all I was gonna say was
Let's change. We got 8 minutes left, so we're gonna just a couple quick questions. Um, and Shadow Fox says, in his opinion, the NX will be platform as a service. The console, portable, and even tablet devices will be irrelevant, as all of them will run the same OS, netcode, and firmware. The X clearly designates their attempt at cross-platform. I don't think it. I mean, the hardware ain't gonna be irrelevant. You can't just put the. I don't think you can put the OS on some chintzy ass laptop or something. I mean, it's got to have.
that
It's
seems
got to
something
have.
like something more Microsoft would do.
It's got to be pretty equivalent. I mean, it can be scalable, the game, like the resolution and stuff, but I think
I really
Nintendo.
don't think
I don't
that.
think Nintendo's going to go that far, but that's he could be. Shadow's a very he knows what he's talking about tech, the tech stuff, but to me, I don't think it's going to be quite like that because I think they want to have like specific specs so that their games will run without a problem. Um, but unless they have designated tablets or designated other devices that
So
have to have.
we're gonna get Nintendo brand tablets.
So it's
I
an
don't.
interesting world. It's an interesting world. Let's see here. Fruit Puncher has a bunch of comments, but not really any questions. Capable Ty, you've asked this question about ever broken a controller. About after getting mad at a game, you asked that question before. I know I didn't have the same guess on, but we're running out of time here, so I'm trying to find. All right, Flapjack. If Zelda U has a dual NX and Wii U release, which platform will you get it for?
NX.
It depends.
Wii U. I'll probably get it for the Wii U because I'm pretty sure it'll still be built for the Wii U.
If the NX version
Well,
doesn't have, if the Wii U version has, let's say the NX doesn't have a gamepad-like experience, I mean,
yeah, I'm getting the Wii U
then I
version.
get the Wii U version. If the NX
NX.
version's everything the Wii U version, but has reduced load times and then just higher quality visuals because I love that art style and the higher res, they took that art style the better. I just think it looks amazing, so I'd want to see it in all its glory. Not to be too much a graphics whore, but With that art style, more powerful is only going to do that game even more justice because I think it looks beautiful already.
Yeah, at that point, as long as if I can keep the same control scheme I had on the Wii U, I feel like I can get it on the NX. But like if the NX doesn't have a gamepad, that's gonna hurt me on a bunch of different levels. So the Zelda Wii U will be like my Serenata, like my swan song for the Wii U. It's like a goodbye, old friend. I miss you.
Goodbye, friend.
All right, Capable Ty will ask this question because I think it's going to get a good chuckle. What if the NX name is Wii U 2 or Wii 3?
Yes.
Wii 360 with me.
Yeah. Imagine I actually secretly am working with Nintendo.
Wii U 2. That's funny.
Oh,
That's funny, Capable Ty. It's a good one.
We Go. I heard someone say We Go before. It's just like the Wii, and then you could go away.
Let me just burst your guys' bubble. They're already removing the Wii brand from GameStops, Best Buys.
Oh yeah, it's
Toys
just
R Us,
Nintendo.
and now they
I'm like,
replaced it
hells
with
yeah.
Nintendo. So forget about the Wii.
it took them too long to realize that the Wii brand wasn't worth anything anymore.
I know.
The Wii brand was worthless when the Wii U came out.
By like
Alright.
2011, it was not even like.
No, by like 2010, it was dead.
Like late 2010, it was like, all right, we hopping.
Well, I would say.
I mean, they should have at least just said Wii 2. Like, they should have just made it a obvious sequel. If you're gonna name it, have Wii in it. Just have a 2. Don't be cute.
I think that response I did on my channel, there was a line I said that perfectly describes the Wii U situation.
No,
The Wii U was rushed to market and it was still late.
Mm-hmm.
No, I posted this on the Gamers Network, but only like 2 weeks ago now. I was talking to this girl and she was saying, oh, isn't the Wii U that the add-on for the Wii, like the tablet for the Wii? I'm like, oh my god, there's still people like you in the end of 2015, and I was like, what?
She's a girl. She doesn't know.
No, but she has an
don't play
Xbox
games.
One. Like,
Well,
That
she
didn't
has bad
confuse her?
taste.
The Xbox One name didn't confuse her?
no,
I
apparently
don't
not.
understand that. I don't understand that. Why is it that the Xbox One didn't have this problem, but the Wii U does?
Well, I also think
I think that's
because
why the
there's more
Xbox
commercials.
One, the Xbox One didn't sell as well as the PS4. I think just because of the stupid name.
But I never hear
well.
anyone confuse the Xbox One for the original
I don't know.
Xbox.
Except when you try to talk
'cause I
about
think-
the original Xbox, when you try to call it something.
Yeah, because when people say Xbox One, they probably don't think of the older one. Because like for me personally, I wasn't even like I mean I was alive technically, but you know I didn't play it, and a lot of people didn't play it, and people growing up.
No, people played it.
No,
Yeah,
but now
it sold
now,
24 million.
Yeah, I was like, people played it.
no, but yeah, but there's 26 million people on PS4. You know what I mean? Like there's people like my age and younger that are
Still a
ignorant.
dumb name. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's a dumb name for.
I think it's worse than the
Super
Wii,
dumb name.
personally.
I
So,
think
anyway.
I think it's a terrible name. They
I
should
think
have
it's
called it
I think
Xbox
it's worse.
720
Okay.
or
I thought
Xbox
they should
Infinite.
just get rid of. Just call it. You know, the 360 was dumb, in my opinion. It should have just been the Xbox 2, Xbox 3.
I thought it was gonna be a circle. I was so disappointed when that shit came out. It was like
I know.
I was like, what is this shit?
Yeah,
So,
I hope
uh,
Nintendo makes a sphere.
I kind of want a Sphere console. Just for
Me too. Like that'd be so cool. Imagine and it floats.
Okay, now you're just getting right.
Kingdom Prachi, he loves not owning the Wii U but talking about it apparently and listening to podcasts. He's a platforming fan. He says Yoshi's Woolly World is the best looking game this year. I agree. Just from a visual standpoint, it's just the cleanest, best looking visuals. You know, it's a 2D platformer and it's a lot easier to make a game look good there. Just like Unraveled for that EA.
Yeah, I'm about to say that game.
That looks amazing for next year. But King, you like 2D platformers. I would say in the last 16 months, we've got like 3 of the best platformers in like Tropical Freeze, Mario Maker, and Yoshi's Woolly World, and then
Well,
Kirby.
here's my thing. If you don't own a Nintendo console, you like platformers. I don't
I
believe
know.
you. I don't believe you. I don't believe it
Yeah.
at all.
All right. We're just have to keep going because it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna miss the start of my show. So we'll just keep going. We're having a good discussion. Fruit Punch I guess the MPD numbers came out.
Yeah, the Wii U sales actually increased.
89,000 just in the
I'm
U.S.
surprised. Not surprised.
That's not amazing, but the 3DS only did 129, which is pretty low. But it didn't really have a game. It really wasn't
Yeah,
that.
there's nothing really. The 3DS, this has probably been one of the 3DS's worst years.
And
Yeah,
then
but
Mario
it's just in
Maker
the
sold
US.
Mario Maker sold 445,000 in the U.S. That's pretty damn good. When that came out on the 11th, so that was 3 weeks, of September.
And I think it hit 1 million by the end of September.
But this is
Yeah.
just in the U.S., so that's
I
almost.
know. I'm just saying in general.
Because every week the 3DS still sells over 100,000, so it's still good.
Yeah, worldwide.
Yeah.
We're
worldwide.
talking U.S. 90,000 in a month, and then you probably add Japan and UK together or Europe together, and it's probably 90,000 those two combined. So it hasn't been great lately. I thought Mario Maker would have more impact
Me too.
on hardware sales, but Nintendo, like Francis or OJ pointed out, like the Wii U they're barely breaking even. Just because it's been out longer, they have a custom chips set that's no longer being mass produced. So they can't really lower the price without losing money, and why lose money now on the system? Even though I think they'd make it back up in game sales. They've kind of been in a tricky spot. The exchange rate with the U.S. dollar and the yen's been terrible. They really were between a rock and a hard place by having IBM make them that custom chip, and the price hasn't gone down on that. It's actually gone up. It's like buying a 500 gig hard drive versus a 2 terabyte right now. Is that 500 gigs actually more expensive because it's not being mass produced like the 2 terabytes like the standard. So they've just been in a tricky spot. They can't really. I mean, they could have took a loss, dropped the thing to like 250, and probably sold a lot more, but they chose not to. So.
Like almost every when you buy the console, you get like what 2 games now.
I know.
Like it's to me, it's already got the price drop. People just don't recognize it.
Because you're putting Mario Maker in it with an amiibo, or you get Mario Kart 8 with all the DLC packs.
Yeah, it's insane.
And, for 300 with, the gamepad, the system, not having to pay online. To me, it's still worth it, but to everyone else, it's not. And I think if that thing dropped down to like 240, I think they would have sold a lot more hardware, which would have in turn sold a lot more software, and they could have kind of broke even that way too. But they chose not to, so whatever. They're just another indication of the.
Well, it's not like I don't feel like it's gonna boom anyway, even if they dropped it. So I feel like they're just like, look, we're gonna make the money we need to make now, and as much as we can. And then, because we'll have the console out in probably like another year, so what's the point of?
Yeah, and the software, 1 million units of Mario Maker, I'm guessing that's already turning a profit for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just keep going, and like if the Wii U started selling, I don't even know if they have the capacity to manufacture enough. Let's say Mario Maker was a craze, and 3 million people wanted to buy Wii U's. I don't think Nintendo could even have them manufactured in stores. Like I don't even think they.
I think at that point they would just. I think at that point they've just accepted it, even if it starts booming. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's just fuck. We can't do anything else. Like just fuck it. It's still a failure in our eyes. Just move on. Which kind of gets to a question I'll ask later.
Capable Tie 7 wants to know, Robert, do you like Jurassic World or Nintendo better?
Oh, come on, why you gotta do that to
The
me?
major question.
You have to answer it, otherwise you can't be on the podcast again.
They're both great. That's literally not even possible.
I want to play the music from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when they deliberate. Like
They're both like the greatest. Jurassic World is the greatest movie. Nintendo's the greatest video game company. How is that
This should
possible?
not even be a contest, man. I don't even understand why this is a contest.
I mean, yeah, technically Nintendo because they play more games.
cameras on the Raptors' heads. I want to put them in the field. I want to put them as insurgents in Iraq.
Come on.
It's not even a question.
Oh man.
Regardless, of
I
course,
want freaking
of course
lasers
I would,
on sharks. Can you put freaking lasers
I would
on
pick
raptors?
I would pick Nintendo obviously because I love video games to death.
Have you
Just
seen the Honest trailer
Yeah,
for?
I did watch it. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
It was
complete.
hilarious.
It's so true. Putting
oh
putting
man.
raptors in the field with cameras on their heads is like the lasers and the sharks and Austin Powers. It's just, that was brilliant.
I just gotta
Um.
say though, it worked. Remember, Chris Pratt was riding with the Raptors. I'm just saying.
Oh, let's get to a few more. All right. Compare Wii U's 2014, I'm guessing, lineup to 2015's Wii U's lineup from Capable Tie 7.
That's not even a comparison. It's fucking the only like heavy hitting games this year would be Splatoon, Mario Maker. Yoshi isn't really heavy hitting, but it could be.
Well, in terms of mass mainstream, it's totally Splatoon and Mario Maker, and that's it.
And I think, and well,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
because
last year was Mario Kart 8 and Smash as far as like mainstream big
Well,
sellers.
yeah, it was Mario Kart 8, Smash.
That's it.
yeah, because Bayonetta 2 is
Which
more
is
niche.
Yeah, the other ones they still sold very
Donkey
well, but they
Kong.
were no, but
Donkey,
that didn't sell a million till like a year
I
later.
know. To
So
me, Donkey Kong and Yoshi are equal as far as like compelling software.
I just think people view Yoshi over
Splatoon
Donkey Kong.
is right behind Mario Kart. Um, Mario Maker to me is right there with. I know it isn't with a lot of people, but for me that's as good as Smash. Bayonetta 2 is definitely better than anything we've got, but X could be pretty impressive. So I think all in all, I mean game sales won't say it, but I think to me I'm enjoying 2015 just as much as 2014.
yeah.
But then again, Mario Maker's like the perfect game for me. So
Yeah, for me, it's kind of.
but then Hyrule Warriors. I mean, I give 2014 the slight edge.
Yeah, I think 2014 has a slight edge.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I mean, I played so much Mario Kart and Smash that I would say last year by a landslide. But then Splatoon again takes it as one of the higher, greater games than Wii U also.
Yeah, to some people, Splatoon's way up there. To me, it's below Mario
That's
Kart 8 and
that's my
Smash.
top three.
I would actually argue. I think I like Splatoon more than I like Mario Kart 8.
See,
Well,
I mean,
my top three are Smash, Mario Kart, and Splatoon. Not in that order, but they're my top three easy.
Smash has actually come a lot higher up on my list this year compared to last year. Like this year, right now, as much fun as I've had playing Smash, it would be one or two for my game of the year. Like it's climbed ahead of the games
No,
that I.
it's not. You can't do that.
No, you're not listening. I'm not saying that it's my game of the year. I'm saying if it came out let's say early this year, because I played most of it this year, my opinion on it is way higher than it was last year after playing it for about a month doing my game of the year. So it'd be way up higher now than it would have back then, just because I've played it a lot more and I'm actually coming to grips with the game and the controls, and I'm getting decent at it. So for me, the top three though Wii U games it's really tough. It's hard to pick because I love 3D World so much.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like 3D World in terms of that. I just love 3D
But
World.
I mean, I played all there is to play, so it's like I don't know if I'll be going back anytime soon, but I still really enjoyed it. Bayonetta 2 was amazing. Mario Maker, the first month was amazing. Now that there's not very many people contributing levels anymore, it's kind of lost its luster. It's kind of dropped down for me. Like currently, what it is now versus what it was at launch, it was amazing having all these people posting levels and comments, and now it's just like all that's pretty much gone. People still upload levels here and there, but it's not the same. That game relies too heavily on the online community, so I don't know.
I can't put it as high personally.
I said it was my favorite Wii U game. It was at that time, but like I said, that's when everything was going, everything was strong with the community, and now that that's not there, it's not my favorite Wii U game right now, but I think it's one of the best reasons to buy a Wii U and the best use of the gamepad still. But for me, it's like Smash, Mario Kart, 3D World, Bayonetta are the top echelon. That's 4 games, but those 4 are above. Then Tropical Freeze, slightly below Mario Maker, just below the top 4. So I can't put them in order though. It's impossible.
Yeah, I can't either.
It changes all the time.
That does bring up a question though. Let's say the NX comes out next year. Would you be content with the Wii U as a console for what you have for it right now?
Oh yeah.
100%. It has some of the greatest games I've ever played in my life.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, you only played 2 console generations.
Yeah, but no, but I've been playing, the other older ones, and in my opinion, I don't have nostalgia glasses. I can't even say glasses on. I still love Super Mario 3D World, Smash, Donkey Kong. All those things are just, I think they're way better than a bunch of these older games too. So.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's still the best 3 years. Well, you kind of take the first 9 months out of it, but
Yeah.
since I bought
Yeah.
that system, I've never bought more games for a system. I've never played a system as much.
Same here.
Only reason I played my 360 as much as I did was I got caught up in the Call of Duty craze for about three games. Let's see. Modern Warfare was on the PlayStation, or Modern Warfare 2 was on the PlayStation. Then I played Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2 on the Xbox 360. Without those games, without that series, I barely played my 360 or PS3. So I think the Wii U to me it's still my favorite console of all time. It's got
Same here.
I love the experiences I've had on it, and Nintendo's if you go back and look at the Wii, I mean they made quite a significant leap forward in hardware specs and features and stuff. I know they didn't have everything, but just the operating system, to the community, the Miiverse, everything was in my opinion, is just a huge leap forward. And if the NX is another huge leap forward, I'm just really excited. But yeah, the Wii U is already a great purchase for me. I don't have any regrets about it. Haven't paid a dime to play games online. I've had a lot of hours online with the Wii U, and so it's definitely no regrets there.
I tell you what, if anything, I'm waiting to play something on my PS4 and Xbox One. Every time, I'm always turning on my Wii U.
Still waiting that greatness.
Shots fired.
Think about it. I mean, this week, Yoshi's Woolly World came out. Next week, Fatal Frame comes out. Back-to-back Wii U exclusives.
Well, technically, you mean this week.
You know what I mean.
That ran me out in like 3 days, man.
In Mario Maker, I mean, it felt like it's only been a couple weeks, but it's been
Mario Maker last month. Yeah, it's Splatoon. You had Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. You have a lot of games. If you count up the exclusives, it's like not even quadruple. It's like 12 times combined what the PS4 and Xbox One will ever have.
And see, the irony is that I used to feel like I needed more time with my Wii U, and I kind of feel like that because I feel like there's so much more this console can do that it won't get the chance to do. But realistically, when I look at my game library for the Wii U currently, I probably have almost as many games as I have for the Wii. And the Wii was out for, 5-6 years?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you got to have to put it in perspective. Like, how much did you play your Wii or your GameCube in comparison to how much did you play your Wii U or your PlayStation 4 or Xbox?
I could probably combine my GameCube. Well, I forgot about GoldenEye. I was going to say my N64. Minus GoldenEye, I could combine my N64 and GameCube playtime, and it's probably equal to or less than my Wii U. The Wii I played quite a bit, but I seem to be getting even more into gaming with each generation. So
yeah, I would say the same thing. I feel like I've gamed way more on my Wii U than I have my Wii. And my Wii, I bought the obscure titles. Like I bought Tetsunoko vs. Capcom and Muramasu and the Demon Blade.
I bought Rhythm Heaven Fever.
I bought Zack and Wiki.
Zack and see, I've never been into the point and click style, man.
And Sin and Punishment, I have that Star Successor.
I need to buy that on the fucking eShop.
No, I bought the physical copy actually not too long ago.
I was looking for the physical copy. I couldn't find it. I said,
I found it at Walmart. I was like, all right, cool.
I'm starting to get more. I'm starting to get more digital because the one thing the 3DS has really made me realize that I kind of wish all my games were on the console because I think, like, I have free time at work, so like I'll bring a cartridge with me and I'll play like I've been playing Chibi Robo, and then like every once in a while, especially Fire Emblem has been the game that's really reminded me like, man, I really want to play Fire Emblem again. Fuck, I don't have it on my console. I didn't bring my cartridges with me.
Dude.
Like I'm starting to get more into the digital mindset, but at least with my handhelds.
You want to hear the epitome of laziness? So the first 2 years of the Wii U had the digital deluxe program. I bought an external hard drive. I'm downloading Smash, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, 3D World, all of them digital. Then that ends, and I start with Kirby, then Splatoon. You know, it was fine. Had 3 months with no new game. I get Mario Maker. Okay, now that's on disc. I'm not playing Splatoon because Mario Maker's in there. I might as well play Mario Maker. And then I get Yoshi's Woolly World, and I'm like, it's like I play it, and then I was like, I'm gonna try something Mario Maker, and then I turned it on this morning. I'm like, damn, Mario Maker's in there. Oh, I might as well work on my level. Turn it on again. I'm like, Mario Maker's in there. I might as well keep tuning it. I'll go see if anybody's got new levels. Like, it's that bad. Now, if I had Mario Maker digitally and Yoshi's Woolly World, the disc in there, then I'd probably play Yoshi. But I just don't like getting the game case out, and it seems to me it feels that like that year and a half of digital only. I feel like I'm taking a step backwards now, going to physical media again, and it's like.
I think it's because it's so easy with the Wii U. It's like, how do I play the game? Tap it.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. Whereas, like I remember with PlayStation 3, I gotta go over to the game scroll.
Yeah.
I gotta scroll down, and then I gotta go through the list of my games. And like, oh, there it is. Click. Oh, look, there's an update that's gonna take 20 fucking minutes. So I guess I'll go do something.
Oh my god. Guess what? I was gonna play Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, which I did, obviously. But basically, I went to go play it, and I went to press play. And first, it installed the whole thing, right? So I clicked to press play. Oh, here's a 90-minute update, and I'm like, thanks, man.
Actually, that's the one thing I fucking hate about PlayStation. Where you'll download
Why would
the
that
game.
need an update?
That's what I'm saying. Like
old games, they should have had it good to go at launch.
That's what I fucking hate. When you download games from like the PlayStation Network shop, it'll download the game, but you have to
update.
No. Then you gotta go over and click the game for it to install the game on your console. It doesn't. It just downloads it to the. I'm like, oh, that's great. It's fucking great.
Yeah, you gotta click the install. Like it doesn't just do it.
What's weird?
Why would you auto install? That seems like such a basic thing to do.
Yeah, what's weird is like every time I would click like Uncharted, it says you have to clear all 36 gigs. I'm like, all right, I'll just delete a game. So I delete a game. You click it again, you have to delete 36 gigs. I'm like, you have to eject the disc, put it back in, and then it'll install. Be like, thanks for doing it. It's like, thanks for doing that.
Wait.
That's next gen, baby.
Wait, Robert. How many PlayStation 4 games do you currently own?
I would have to get up and count.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I'm like.
No, like
all
the third-party games I bought on PlayStation 4, so that it adds up for that.
Okay, because I'm about to say if you only got like 6 or 7 games and you gotta already start uninstalling stuff, I'd lose my fucking mind.
No, I have more of an excuse because you look at my the amount of games I got plenty.
You got more than 10?
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
Rob from Rule 2 Review has 8 retail games, and he says he has 63%.
What?
Available.
So I don't think he ever played any of his games.
And then I asked Jay Fleming, and he says that if you just install the disc and not just download the whole game off the disc, like if you just install what's necessary, he says it doesn't install the whole game every time. So I don't know if that's true or not, but
no, I never heard of that. But
the fact that you gotta get that particular about it is fucking ridiculous.
I'm a count how many games I got. I'll be back in a second.
All right, let's get to a few more. Like Shadow Fox asked a question I really can't answer, but he says people jump to the conclusions the Wii U's successor will include an Intel CPU. I haven't heard that. In his professional opinion, doing this would be suicide, as yields are far worse than IBM parts Nintendo is used to. But like we talked earlier, Nintendo needs to have a very common mass-produced chipset. They can't go back to a custom chipset and get in the same situation. So I think I think it'll be AMD. Yeah, CPU, I'm not sure. But I think it's going to be something a little bit more mass market and not a custom chip. So that's my take.
Well, I just want to say I got 14 PS4 games.
So it took you 14 to run out, or
No,
how
no,
many?
no. I ran out in like very quickly, like probably within like 5 or 6, and it was
What?
done.
See, that's insane.
No, I
Something.
don't think it's.
No,
You
not
need to
five,
know
maybe
which
not 5 or
games.
6, but it was like I forget which
You
ones.
can't make claims like that because you need to know which games are installed and which ones aren't. It could be more like 10. It could be 8 or 9.
Well,
'Cause
remember, I
trust Jay
downloaded
and
some games.
I
Like,
trust Jay Fleming and Rob from Rule of Two Review. They both have PS4s. They both have 8 retail games, and they both have a decent amount of storage left.
well, I mean, it also depends because what games do they got? Because it always varies in terms of
They got like Batman and
Batman's a
Witcher,
huge chunk. It's
like
insane.
Witcher and
Witcher's a huge chunk. Well,
yeah.
well,
But
maybe
anyway, we're not
maybe
gonna.
it was more like 8 or 9. I don't know. It was one or the other.
Point is, it's too goddamn.
Reliable sources
Regardless,
tell
I have
me
to delete stuff.
the PS4 holds, or it doesn't take up as much space per game as the Xbox One, and that's been confirmed from reliable sources. But still, you have the disc. You bought the physical copy. There's no reason you should have to delete a game and then have to install it to play it again if you wanted to go back and play it. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I
Talk
still
about
have to.
me not wanting to put a disc in to play it on the Wii U. Just think if I had to put in a disc and install it to play it again. Like, forget it. I'm not gonna.
It's so dumb because it's like and for some reason it just does that. It did that with multiple games. Every time I put in a game, it says you gotta delete this, and I'm like, come on, man. Now I gotta take out the disc after. So I always do that. I take out the disc, put it back in. It's like, thank you.
You have to take out the disc, delete, make room, and then put the disc
No,
back
no, no,
in.
no. I do. What I do is I mean, maybe you could do that simpler, but I delete it. Right? You delete the amount. Let's say it's 36 gigs. I delete 36 gigs, and I click to install it, and then it says you still must need to.
I know.
delete
That's why I
36
said
gigs.
you have to
Oh.
take out the disc, and then
Yeah,
delete it,
yeah.
and then put it back in.
Yeah.
That's
So that
retarded.
just sounds like a jarring experience.
It's
just-
a random design choice that you can't just click, but whatever.
That's retarded. It can't update and say, okay, you made room. Like, you have to.
No, it doesn't. At least not for me. Maybe my PS4.
Anyway, talking those, it seems like those consoles have way more flaws than
They have
people
more.
talk.
They fuck up the little things.
Way
Well,
more
tell you what-
flaws than people ever admit, and way more flaws than I'm willing for a $400 console. Oh, it's only $350 now. I ain't buying a 500 gig one if I'm gonna have to be deleting games. Like, I'm just not gonna do it. So
And then
when
you
the
have to reinstall it if you put in that game back in. It's
when the
crazy.
1 TB one is $300 or less, I'll consider buying PS4 or Xbox One. But I probably won't. Maybe won't have to with the NX if it has the games I would consider buying a PS4 or Xbox One for.
Yeah, because if those get the third-party games, I'm not. I had no interest in Xbox ever, but like, if it gets like the Kingdom Hearts 3s and the JRPGs like I wanted to, bro, I'm not touching it. I don't need to touch Sony console.
If
I'm
the
good.
NX gets those games, then you'll be like set.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. That's literally the only main reason why I get Sony consoles nowadays is because it has a lot of the Japanese games that no other console gets.
I
Well,
think
I tell you what, like for the Xbox One with Rare Replay, it had to install every individual N64 game, and it would stop. For some reason, it said installation stop, and you cannot start a game without every single game installed.
and
it was
then
so-
it had to
This-
download some of the 360 titles.
This is why I don't understand why people own 3 consoles. There's no reason
I
to
have
do
to
this.
because I want to play the game.
So you buy Rare Replay.
Yeah.
It runs basically it's N64, Super NES, NES games.
Yeah.
It has to install those, then it has to download
Well,
the
no,
Xbox
the only games that it
5
installs
list.
is the
Yeah.
360.
It has to install off the disc
Yeah.
those games. It has to download the other ones because they're not actually on the disc. There's only like 20 or 18 games on the disc. Then this is This is confirmed. This isn't
No, I
speculation.
know.
And it actually has to get online and download the rest of the games. And it's like, why weren't they on the disc?
Yeah, especially their N64 titles. Like, there's no excuse.
This is why I said if I get a PlayStation 4, I'm buying digitally only. Like, I'm not even dealing with this shit.
It's like, it's so retarded because then you can pre-purchase the digital, and then it only has to download a little bit. Like, you can actually play the game sooner. If you buy the disc, then you got to wait 45 minutes to install the game.
Well, Rare Replay took me hours.
Yeah, it took Mezati 47 minutes. He timed it.
It took me more than that because it kept stopping the installation. It would be like, installation stopped, and then you would have to redo the installation.
Yeah, he couldn't. Let's say he got Rare Replay for Christmas and the internet was out or something, like it happened to Leveled Head Gamer. You can't play Rare Replay without the internet because it has to download like 11 titles.
Yeah.
So from the internet, they're not even on the disc. A 50 gig can't hold 30 retro games. I just don't understand. So.
And let's say you didn't even want to play the N64 games.
What's the point of having Blu-ray discs when you don't even use them? You're using them as download codes of anything.
Well, I think what the problem is the disk drive read speed compared to the hard drive read speed there must be an issue there. Other than that, it's DRM. If it's not this read-write speed or the read speed being beneficial, that has to be that they just want people to have the disc in, but still have to have it installed. I don't know.
And that's why cartridges are the way to go.
Cartridges definitely seem to be a good alternative. So, all right, we're gonna wrap this up. We've been talking for a good amount of time here, almost 2 hours. So, I didn't. Fruit Puncher, you just put a bunch of comments. If you had put some, I read them all. But if you'd put some questions, like serious questions, I would have read them off. But I read all the comments just to myself because we already talked about a lot of those things way early on, and it was too late. The time had passed on some of those. So
yeah, watch the playback.
You're a good person, Fruit Puncher.
Yeah,
I like Fruit Punch. Fuck it.
So final thoughts. We'll start with Terrell.
I guess I'll go ahead and say this because I didn't really talk about it. I bought Chibi Robo. That game is not as bad as people say it is. It has some stupid elements in it, but I think overall it's a good game. Fatal Frame comes out this week. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Then really we don't have anything else. I think October we're good, and then like November we have Mario Tennis.
We didn't even talk about the rumored Twilight Princess HD, but
wow.
we'll save that. We'll save that for next time.
Well, as Nintendo fans, we don't believe in all these HD remakes of old games and shit.
I believe.
I don't mind of old games. I just don't want.
We don't want
new games.
Yeah, that's what it is. Not bad.
You know, Twilight Princess. Not my first choice of what.
Well, that's the game I feel like that would benefit the most from a remake because I think it's like the least popular 3D game.
It was the highest selling one though. So.
Yeah,
it is the highest selling, but it is the least popular. Like
so,
bands. Twilight.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
Hopefully, I have a gut feeling we'll get a direct this week or next week.
What?
Just have a gut feeling. So Robert. Take it away. Final thoughts.
All right. So my final thoughts are: I actually played Uncharted, and I love it. It's a great game. Can't wait.
You mean after you installed it?
Yeah. After I updated and installed it, I played it, and it was
great movie.
It's not a movie because there's platforming, there's shooting, there's a lot of stuff, and I love it, and it's a great game. So I totally recommend it. Although I bet you everyone played it.
Great popcorn flick.
No, it's not a popcorn flick.
Oh wow.
But it was awesome. And also talking about popcorn flicks, go watch Goosebumps. It was a good movie. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, okay, bye.
I was surprised he didn't start going.
Why is it you and you just had to do it?
And I saw the Ratchet and Clank trailer, which looks good. And also, guys, hold on. Are you guys gonna watch? Are you guys gonna watch the Peanuts movie?
Anyway,
I've been kind of curious.
the Ratchet and Clank
Peanuts.
trailer bugged me because the first minute of it was like not a trailer. It was just like something else. It didn't feel like a movie trailer to me. It felt it was weird. It felt like a TV show commercial. Or
See, I
something.
never played Ratchet and Clank, so I
It
don't
could be
really
good,
know.
though.
But
I
the
think
last
it'll be-
half of the trailer actually plays like a movie trailer, and it's okay.
It could be good.
But
No,
my
it can't.
final thoughts are this was a really good discussion, kind of a different take on the NX news and stuff, so try to give people something different than just oh my god, it's powerful, yay! You know, those
You
type
didn't
of
do the
people.
2-minute news story though. Come on now.
You know. But anyway, tomorrow I'll be getting Jurassic World on Blu-ray. And I'll probably watch the whole movie once, and then from then on it'll just be the best scenes from the movie. There's no way I'm gonna sit through that whole movie. Some of the dumb scenes, I'll just skip
There
them.
are no dump scenes. It's so
And
good.
I'll just get right to the good stuff at the end. So I'll be doing that tomorrow, and I'm probably gonna pick up Fatal Frame. The review's been kind of low, and heard some different things about the prologue chapter. I think I'm just gonna get the game and get that Zero Suit Samus costume unlocked. You know.
Man, you a weak. Oh, by the way, there's a report that they supposedly took out like the half naked costumes.
Yeah, because I've
the
seen some
lingerie.
Meavers posts. There was like lingerie and like bikini.
Man.
Yeah, there have been they're not sure yet, but some people have said that they're out. Some people have said that they're in.
That doesn't even make
Weird.
sense.
Poor Robert, he's 16-year-old. He's just discovering himself. You know.
I want the fucking listen. If I can get the Ayane DLC, then I'm good. Which is the girl from Dead or Alive. I know she.
No, let's just make it.
Well, they say if you go look at the eShop page, you can actually see that it does have DLC. But I don't know. I would think the Zero Suit Samus and Zelda skins would be like free.
They're amiibos, I
Yeah.
think, aren't they?
I heard they're
I've heard-
unlockable. If
Maybe
I had,
they
I
are.
won't buy that crap. I mean,
Well,
but
if
You
they're
might.
unlockable,
You might.
then what's the DLC thing then?
Oh,
I'm sure
it's
DLC will be like actual characters. The Zero Suit Samus is just a costume. It's just a suit. The chick's face stays the same. It's not. The
Yeah.
characters don't
Why?
change the outfit.
They're gonna make a Fatal Frame Zero Suit Samus model.
But
She's gonna be walking
I
around
mean,
with a blaster instead of the flash.
it looked like from the neck down. It was all Zero Suit though. I think they.
He saw that ass and he was.
I mean, it's the best Samus has ever looked in a video game as far as just the quality
of that ass.
of the visual. and
the
fidelity.
tightness.
It's nice. Let's just say it would make me play the game.
With the lights off and the lotion in hand.
Hey,
And
that's
she's all
speaks for
scared.
itself.
She's
Hey
all
man,
scared.
it is called Maiden of the Black Water, so you'll be well lubricated.
You're acting like it's me that's going to be doing that, but you're the one saying it, so.
Because I'm just giving you the idea.
Mhm. An idea you've probably already
No.
had.
No, this game requires 2 hands with the gamepad. I don't have that kind of. I'm not that good at multitasking.
Right, you could do like.
And there we go.
Can we
And there we
stop?
go.
This is why
All
we're
right.
good. We're good. We're good.
So anyway, I'm going to pick up Jurassic World and
Yeah.
Fatal Frame, continue playing Yoshi, skipping Triforce Heroes and
Oh.
He's
and
a hater.
Chibi Chubby Robo.
Chibi Chubby.
Wow.
Chibi Chubby Robo.
He didn't even do anything to you. That's dirty, man.
And,
That's his new nickname.
let's just hope we need a direct. We need something. They can't just release Fatal Frame without anything. Like, they need to
What about
remind
the
people.
Spoopy trailer?
Yeah, the spoopy one. Extremely spoopy.
I don't understand that at all. I really don't.
I don't know what that is.
I think that was funny. I think it was.
It's so fucking random.
So, we got a Splatoon update coming. They're balancing, tweaking some stuff.
He's not gonna
And-
play the game. It's fine.
I played it a little bit, but
I don't believe that.
we'll have some Fatal Frame impressions next week. Hopefully, some news, something direct to talk about, something, please. And with that, we're gonna wrap up this Juice is Loose. Five more until the number 69 episode, our special episode, and
I won't be on it.
Robert's not going to be on it, but we'll try to get a good lineup of guests. And to Ms. T out there, I don't know where you were, Foos. Yeah, you didn't tell me you weren't going to be on, but we went without you, and I think
This is where the salt comes in.
we had a good discussion.
This
We
is
didn't
where you
need
gotta do
him.
the impression. Do the
Hey,
impression.
Mr. T, this motherfucker is for you.
All right,
Hey,
so,
Nintendo fools.
play the
Oh,
game,
Lord.
play to win. That's all I got to say.
Whoa, copyright infringement.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Leave any comments once this video uploads on YouTube, and I'll do my best to get reply to them. And we'll see you next week for Juice Loose number 65. See ya.
Senior sis.
Wouldn't want to be ya.